What's up? What's up, everybody out there? What's up? What's up? Man, let me tell you, this was a complete, utter, utter beatdown. You're sitting up here watching the last of the Indiana Notre Dame game. It's about 4 minutes left in the game. And I can tell you, Indiana wasn't competitive at all in this game. I'm not going to say it was shocking, considered their schedule. And I know a lot of people from Indiana going to be mad uh, about me saying that, but it's true. You look at who they played to get there, and I'm not saying that Notre Dame played a tougher schedule, but we kind of knew just looking at Indiana like they probably shouldn't have been there. I'm just saying like as if they would match up well in the Big 12. They're a good football team. They just beat some bad teams, and it happens. So we're gonna sit up here and watch a little bit of this football game, and then we're gonna dig into the numbers. While we're listening to the rest of the game, let me just give you some of the first half numbers here. Yeah, Notre Dame dominates both sides of the ball. They dominated both sides of the ball. I mean, they couldn't do nothing in the first half, Indiana. I mean, rushing, passing, nothing. Ronke had 6 completions for 77 yards, no touchdowns, and 1 interception. That's in the first half. I mean, son, you got to do better. You just got to do better. You can't be out there just you had time. You were overthrowing receivers, underthrowing receivers, throwing picks when you threw one. And ultimately, you couldn't get anything, or Indiana couldn't get anything going. Defensively, the same thing. I mean, they tried to put up a little fight, but we know that if you looked at the game, Notre Dame dominated both sides of the ball. Leonard in the first half, he had 11 completions for 87 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and 20 yards rushing. Time of possession in the first half, it actually was pretty even. The time of possession was. It was Indiana had 14-26, and Notre Dame had 15-27. So right there, they were pretty even. Third down completion, Indiana was at 42.9, which is actually pretty good third down completion. But hell, if you're giving up 71 percent completion, hell, that just blows you out the water. Again, in the first half, Indiana only mustered 55 yards rushing. Now, come on, now that's utterly ridiculous. 55 yards rushing in the first half. Hell, Notre Dame tripled you almost. They had 155 yards rushing in the first half. It let's just finish watching the game. I just can't believe that they went out here and no wonder they're playing on a Friday. You know, I can uh I can understand why. Let's see, what the heck's going here? And there we go. Riley Leonard scores again. You can see it right there. You know, I mean, he just out here doing whatever he wanted to do. He didn't even look that good at the beginning of the season. At the beginning of the season, but he did turn it on late in the season. Granted, it was against some bad teams. You figure they played Army. Army one dimensional, but they beat the brakes off of them. Navy, again, not that great. They beat the brakes off of them, but he has played good going down the stretch. So it's going to be interesting matchup. I don't know if they play Georgia next. I have to look at the bracket, so I'm really not sure. The question is, what is Indiana going to do next year? I'm not really sure about that. They brought in a lot of transfers from James Madison, and they had a pretty good season. Oh, I do want to shout out a couple of guys that were in the game. on both sides of the ball. You had Jeremiah Love, which is from CBC, St. Louis, Missouri, my hometown. And you had Lionel Carr. I played with his father in high school. So shout out to both of those guys. Uh, I believe Lionel Carr Jr. went to DeSmet, if I'm not mistaken. That's in the St. Louis area too. So shout out to both of those guys there. Uh, Lionel Carr plays for Indiana, and Jeremiah Love plays for Notre Dame. So just want to give them both a little love there. All right, let's tap back in on this game here and see what's going on here. Nothing but still just a beat down, So we're gonna skip a little ahead there and see what they finna do here. If Indiana can get anything going here. I mean, I will say York just been, oh man. I mean, Rourke, apologize for pronouncing his name wrong. Rourke, he been looking like straight booty cheeks. Indiana as a squad been looking like cheeks. I mean, I thought I would see a little bit more out of them, but I thought the game would be competitive. They was only a touchdown dog coming into the game, and just to only put up 3 points is pathetic. I tell you. Now, some of this game, at the beginning of the game, I will say, after you guys saw that first interception there by IU, you thought it was going to be on, didn't you? And then they got all the way down the field, and what happened? Throw an interception. Jeremiah Love runs a 98-yard touchdown, and house it. You just can't do that. And then after that, it just the wheels came off, and they just never recovered. They couldn't move the ball. They couldn't get anything going, running, passing, or anything. So we'll get past that there. Let's see what they're going to do on this drive here. See if they're going to get anything going. We optimistic, but or I'm optimistic just because I want to see a good game. But it's only 4:05, 4:04 left of the game. I don't see too much happening after this. So I want to put his wife up there. She probably already feeling bad enough. He out there getting his head beat in. Your wife don't want to see you out there getting destroyed like that. So we're gonna just pause it there, and then we're gonna skip ahead a little bit. But you guys tell me what you think. If do you think that Indiana should have been there? Do you think they shouldn't have? We knew Notre Dame was going to be tough coming in, and I was a little shaky on Indiana. I had hopes that they would play better, but I was just thinking like, I don't know. Out that Big Ten, I think Oregon and Ohio State is probably the best two teams coming out of that division. Penn State, don't let me leave Penn State out of there too. Penn State, they are a good team. To me, they don't have enough offense if they get behind, but they do have that rock solid defense, which keeps them in every game that they play. So, you can't discount them. You know, um, let's see here. Let's get back in this game. Again, another overthrown ball, even though it was a flag on the play. It's just like he's just been overthrowing wide receivers all day. Now, granted, it has been tight coverage, but you got to make some of these plays. You're in the college football championship or playoffs. You can't be out here just overthrowing receivers. He has to look comfortable the whole game. And, you picked your worst day to have your worst game. That's what I can say. You can't be out there, like you say, just not decisive. Uh, Offensive line, not really. Well, I can't say they're not really giving him any time because they have given him some time. He just hasn't looked good at all. You know, we'll skip a little bit here, see if they're going to do anything. At least get a touchdown and make it respectable. You won't be able to cover, but At least you could just kind of make it respectable and give you something to hang your hat on for next year. You know, you guys tell me what you think about the matchup for next week for Notre Dame. I think it's going to be a pretty tough matchup there, but you guys hop in my chat. You guys let me know what you guys think. Uh, we got some big games coming up tomorrow too. Of course, you guys know I am a Miami Hurricane fan, and y'all can laugh at me if you want to, but I am what I am. You know, and they do play tomorrow, so of course I'll be going live. They play Iowa State, and I'm looking forward to that game. I'm looking forward to seeing what Cam Ward does on his last game as he try to raise his draft stock. And I've only seen Iowa State play, I think maybe twice this year. Pretty good defense. They out the Big 12. Big 12 is down, and a lot of people say the ACC is down too. They got SMU and Clemson in there, and I think Clemson got a pretty tough draw. SMU has a chance. You know, but we got that going tomorrow. And let me see what other football games we got going here. Let's see here. All right. Let's see. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. By the way, I watched that. I think that was Tulane and Green Waves in Florida, and Florida just absolutely destroyed them. I mean, that wasn't even a competitive game. It was, you see some of these bowl games, and you just wonder why. You know, they even play each other when some of them not even competitive at all. So. But anyway, I digress on that. So tomorrow you have Clemson at Texas. Uh, Clemson, that's a tough draw for you. I can say Texas, they look legit. So, and after you got your butt whooped by Georgia at the beginning of the year, got dog walked all over the field. I no telling what Texas gonna do to you. If I'm wrong, hey, you just have to hop on my next live to let me know or something, because I don't see them having a chance. I mean, the quarterback is pretty good at Clemson, but this is a different monster there. Now, this matchup here I'm looking forward to is the Penn State SMU matchup. That one I think will be a little bit more competitive. SMU has a lot of speed on their team, dynamic quarterback, and he can make plays with his arm and with his leg. So the thing with SMU to me is that they haven't played the caliber at Penn State. Penn State is battle tested. So, but if they keep that game close, SMU has a chance. What other games we got on tap? So then we have Tennessee and Ohio State. That game is intriguing too. Also, Ohio State out the Big Ten, Tennessee out the SEC. So that's going to be an interesting matchup right there. I'm leading Ohio State in that one. I think Ohio State should pull it off, but I tell you, I wouldn't discount Tennessee either. Tennessee, they have a decent squad. They can score with the best of them. Decent defense. Uh, Ohio State struggles sometime moving the ball. If you watch some of the games that they play close in, they really struggled, except for the Oregon game where that was a pretty high scoring game. Uh, you can't. They just kind of, with all the firepower that they have, I just thought that they would be a lot better. Let's look at some of their record here. Let's see here. We're looking at, okay. So of course in the Michigan game, it was 10-13. Yeah, okay. And then of course they blasted Indiana. And that was a game I thought Indiana would be competitive, but of course they wasn't. Let me see. They lost to Oregon game. Yeah, that was a high score game. That was 32-31. And pretty much all their games against good teams have really been really, really close. They haven't really pulled away from anybody. Let's see. Like I said, they blasted Indiana, which is a good team. They beat Penn State 20 to 13. Uh, Oregon, they beat 32. Oh, they lost. Let me correct myself. They lost to Oregon. I remember the game. Yeah. 31-32. Uh, and, myself personally, that's probably the really toughest games they played. Some people debate whether, Nebraska, which is kind of a Big Ten rivalry game and stuff like that, would be competitive. A competitive game. Nebraska hasn't looked bad all that year, but they're not a great football team. To me, Tennessee. Let's look at their record at 10-2, and let's see here. They lost to Georgia. They got throttled by Georgia, 31-17. Uh, that wild game with Alabama, they won 24-17. Who else do I think is worthy? Now we know Mississippi State, they weren't that good this year. And Tennessee, they beat Florida. That game was interesting, the Florida game, because I think that game there, the quarterback got hurt in. So um, that's an interesting game. That's a game they could have lost, but they found a way to win. So that matchup, like I say right there, that's going to be interesting to see what happens in that game there. Uh, let's see the other matchups here that we want to talk about here. Well, let's go to Clemson here. Let's go to this Clemson matchup here. All right. So we got Clemson. Okay, of course they beat SMU in the ACC championship 34-31. That was a good game. That was a good game. I did have Clemson favored, even though I think Clemson, for their standard, I believe they think they didn't had a down year, but it is what it is. Okay, they lost to South Carolina. That kind of, I'm not going to say it surprised me, because it really didn't surprise me per se. Uh, Actually, I picked South Carolina, but I didn't pick South Carolina to win the game. I picked South Carolina to cover in the game. So I don't want people to think that I actually picked South Carolina to win that game. But you know the old saying, if you don't cover, you lose. So that is what it is. They lost that game 14-17. Uh, they beat Pitt. Pitt got to a hot start, but Pitt, they folded at the end and they never recovered. They beat them 24-20. Uh, the interesting game that got me was the Louisville game. They lost that Louisville game 21-33. Uh, Louisville actually destroyed them. I mean, they were up and down the field on them. Louisville just looked so much faster than Clemson in that game. So I don't know if that's like an aberration, or I don't know. It's weird, because after seeing them lose at the beginning of the season and then seeing them lose to Louisville, which had a lot of speed, and it kind of just shocked me. So, but you go with those two losses, and it's going to be interesting. I'm not saying interesting matchup. I just don't think they match up well with Texas. And let's go look at Texas here. Okay, you got Texas, of course. They beat Texas A&M, and Texas A&M, they got a decent team. They beat them 17-7. So that was a dog fight there, but of course they handled their business. And they went into Florida. They beat Florida 49-17. Game wasn't competitive. Let's see. They lost to Georgia 15-30. That game there, I tell you, that game shocked me too. I just thought that Tennessee couldn't do anything against Georgia that game. Georgia was just on one, flying all over the place and everything. So that was something else. Yeah. Of course, they beat Oklahoma. Oklahoma had a down year. Mississippi State had a down year, and then we're not even going to count Louisiana Monroe or University of San Antonio or and Michigan. They had a down year too. Colorado State is Colorado State. Need I say more? So uh, that matchup there, I really think that Texas is going to win that, and I think Texas will. I think they that almost two touchdowns. That's going to be. I don't know if Texas will cover the two touchdowns. That'll be interesting. But uh, I'll let you guys look for yourself here, and that way you can see what it is there. But there it is right there, and that's the spread. So you let me guys know that if you think that SMU will cover that 9.5 against Penn State. Uh, my thoughts on that game: if Penn State get the rolling, they ball control, they run that ball. I don't think that SMU didn't face the defense of this caliber. So that could be a problem. As you've seen today in today's game, Indiana hasn't really, well, I shouldn't say they haven't faced the defense of that caliber. Every defense they have faced against that caliber, they struggled against. In retrospect, SMU hasn't faced a defense. Even Clemson defense isn't as good as Penn State defense. So, that is what it is, sir. Uh, you guys let me know if you think they're going to cover that 9.5. SMU. Think I'm going to take Penn State in the 9.5 on that one. Okay. Then you have, oh, well, you see, look like they scored a late touchdown there, Indiana or something. Let's see here. Let's see what's going on here. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see what's going on here. There's only a minute left. They're trying to make it respectable and cover, but they're not going to be able to cover that 7. So he's just stat padding right now. So we're gonna go back here. So yeah, you just guys let me know that the Ohio State game, Tennessee. Oof, I think I'm gonna take Tennessee to cover that. I think that game gonna be a little bit closer to 7. I think that might be a field goal game. Guys, let me know if you feel different. I just think that game is going to be really, really tight. Uh, it's an interesting matchup, and if like once again, if Tennessee can hang in there and keep it close, because of course they'll be playing at Ohio State. It's a little different there. Another interesting point about that Penn State game, I'm assuming they playing it in College Park. I assume it's going to be super cold. You got a team coming out the South coming up there. That's going to be a factor in that game. And a lot of those boys from SMU or Miami Hurricane transfers over is not used to that cold weather. It all makes a difference. So, and getting back to the Clemson game, that's a lot of points. Something tells me, I just think, I don't know. I feel like Dabo can make that game competitive. I don't know if he got the horses because I don't know if he has his quarterback is a stud, but I don't know if he has the horses to really compete with Texas, because they can run the ball. Ewers, or however you pronounce his name, he's a little streaky, but they got Manning, so they have special packages for him if they struggle a little bit. Manning, he looks like he's going to be the real deal. Uh, looks like it. So we'll find out more about him next year, of course. So that'd be a interesting matchup there. Let's see. Let's swing around here to the week after week 16. Well, nope, not feeling any of those games there. Wait a minute. Let's go back here. Okay, so we got bowl weekend. Let's see how. So once again, like I said, we're gonna finish wrapping up this game here. This game should be about a wrap. Okay, right. He raised an interesting question there. What made the committee think Indiana was more deserving than Alabama? And this is my problem with the college football championship. The college football championship, they don't use the eye test. I mean, you have to use the eye test to some degree. Clearly we know it's some teams that's in this championship. I don't like to use the word they don't deserve because that's not the right. I mean, you can only go by what the system is. But we clearly know that it's some other teams that's better than the teams that's in there. Makes no sense to me. Something has to be done. Now, what do you do about it? I don't know. But something needs to be done. I mean, you look at Indiana, and well, this is my thought on the whole championship. It's all a money grab anyway, because really it's only a handful of teams, maybe three or four that you already know. You already know that really is going to win it. So everybody else is just to make, to generate money. They was losing on money on bowl games and people not going to the bowls, people sitting out of bowl games. So they was thinking like, let's spin it and then make you guys think that this is the reason why, we need this championship. Well, we already know that you could have just left the 4-team playoffs because you probably got the four best teams in the nation. Everybody else is just there to generate money, you know. Now, I don't like to discount any teams or nothing like that, but let's just look at it. Did anybody think Indiana was going to win the national championship? Let's just be honest about it. Come on. Nobody thought Indiana would win the national championship. I mean, at least I didn't, you know. And knowing that, that just lets you know that's the money grab right there. Because, if it's supposed to put the best teams that you think that have a chance to win the national championship, why are we putting teams in where we know on paper? It's almost like the NCAA basketball tournament. Just if you're going to be like the NCAA basketball tournament, just open it up to everybody. Let everybody just be in the championship game, because if you're just trying to generate money, they try to bamboozle you to think like, oh yeah, such and such has a chance. Come on now. We all know that. You know, we all know that teams that win this week are probably most likely are going to lose to the teams next week. Most likely. If I can just figure out let's see here. Figure this out here. Bear with me. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so here's the bracket here. So you got Clemson and Texas, okay. And the winner now, Clemson does have, or Texas has an easier road. Arizona State, they played well. They played, of course, in the Big 12, and there's no shade against the Big 12. We just know the Big 12 is not a particularly competitive conference. So they will play Arizona. Now, take that as you wish. To me, they're the weakest. Yeah, the weakest championship of all four of them. Well, let me say, I shouldn't say that because we got Boise State in there too. So that's a toss up. You guys let me know which is the weaker, Boise State or Arizona. I'm not really sure on that one. To me, I think Boise State is the weaker of the four that'll be next in the next round playoffs. So you got Arizona State; they'll play the winner of Clemson, Texas, and then you have Tennessee or Ohio State. They will play the win. Oregon will play the winner of those two. So that round game, I mean, both that's going to be a good matchup. If they play Ohio State again, of course, that'll be a dogfight because of the they both know each other. You know, they didn't played each other once this year. The Tennessee game, I think Oregon has a little bit too much speed for them. So um, I don't see them really uh, doing anything in that game there if they make it. So and then you have SMU and Penn State, and once again uh, that game there. I'm looking at Penn State coming in and beating Boise State, and like I say, and then Penn State moving on for Boise State. Now you do have to watch out for some things with Boise State. Boise State runs a lot of trick plays and things of that nature. So, uh, well, traditionally runs a lot of trick plays. Of course, you know they got the running back that was on the Heisman panel. So some things that you need to worry about if SMU or Penn State makes it through. I'm looking at Penn State to make it through, but I do think that SMU has a lot of speed, a lot of talent on the offside or the opposite side of the ball, and Rhett Lashley is a hell of a coach. So, you know, I have a lot of respect for Rhett Lashley. You know, he was offensive coordinator at the University of Miami. Of course, I am a Miami Hurricane fan. I hated to see him leave, but Mario Cristobal came down there, did some amazing things, and turned it around down there. Okay, so moving on from that, so you do have that, and then of course Notre Dame, they just won, and they will move on to place Georgia. Uh, that matchup there is Georgia and Notre Dame. Now you do know Carson Beck is hurt, so with him being hurt, that game there, uh, I don't. I don't think Notre Dame has enough to beat Georgia. Just a simple fact, Georgia defense is pretty stout. Not as good as last year, of course, but uh, they they're pretty stout. So I don't know if they're going to be able to actually compete with them at all. So we'll see. You know, I don't know what the opening line going to come out on that game, and it'll be interesting to see if Notre Dame could string along another good game like they play. Now, one thing about Notre Dame, you do know they play hard. You do know they play sound. They just haven't been able to win some of the bigger games. They tried to hype this up like it was a big game, but you know, like again, you know, some of these first round games, you know, it is what it is. You know, I'm not going to take anything away from Indiana, but again, I just felt like Indiana probably it's another team that probably could have did better in that slot in Indiana or who else would I you know hell I think Clemson better than Indiana, you know. Uh, and I can't take anything away from the teams that got biased because that's just the way the committee has it. So I can't say that they shouldn't be in there if you're going to put, you know, you're going to have those guys in the committee. So once again, Oregon, like I say, if you watch them play all year, you do know Oregon has a lot of speed. They fly around to the ball on defense. Uh, Dan Landy is a hell of a coach. He did turned the culture around over there. And actually, the football program wasn't bad when he got there because he took over for Mario Cristobal, who left. He built a lot of that program up and then left and then went down to the University of Miami and started building that program. So, and then Dan Lanning, he just took it to another level. So, you can't say anything bad about the Oregon program as a whole. Ryan Day at Ohio State, I don't know why people be on him so much and and just think that you know that I don't know. They just have this thing like he should be fired. I don't get that. You hop in my comments if you're an Ohio State fan and you wonder like, man, I want him to go. He can't win the big games. Well, hell, he just can't beat Michigan. So hey, if that's your only knock, you can't beat Michigan. Hey, come on now. It's a lot of teams that are like to go 10-1, 3 or 4 years in a row, or 9-2, or whatever his record is over the last 3 or 4 years. But it's a lot of teams that wish they had what he had, and don't know why people are so hard on him. And Dabo Sweeney, like I say, great coach, been around a long time, relatively young. I think he's only 54, 55 years old. So, uh, but they were on him too. So, you know, yeah, I can't figure it out. Excuse me 1 second there. Okay, yeah. And yeah, they were on Dabo saying once again, he not up with the times, and he's not up with the NIL. Ironically, the funny thing about that is, hell, he's in the NIL this year for next year, rather. Go look at some of the people that he got coming in. So, the NIL, whole different animal. I'm gonna do a segment on that all by itself. And so tomorrow I will be going live, and we're going to cover some of the football games. Of course, I'll be doing a Miami Hurricane game exclusively. So tap in for me on that one, and we'll cover. I think it's 3 games tomorrow. Let's see here. So we got the Clemson game tomorrow. We have Clemson, Tennessee, Ohio State, SMU. Yeah. So we got 3 games tomorrow. So I'm gonna tap in. Of course, I'll be watching these games and watching the beloved Canes tomorrow, and then we're gonna tap back in for a live, and we're gonna chop it up and see how everything's going then. Thank you for watching my live. If you like my live, just tap on in, subscribe, hit the like button, and I'm out.